In a small southern town where dusty roads held more secrets than footsteps, where children learned about the world long before they were ready, one story changed everything. This is a tale of innocence and injustice, of courage and conscience, of love, loss, and the quiet fight for what is right. Today we journey to Macomb, Alabama, to witness how a single trial shook a whole community and how one family stood against the darkness of prejudice. This is the story about growing up and waking up. Macomb was a sleepy town, the kind where nothing much seemed to happen, at least on the surface. The days were slow, the summers were long, and life felt peaceful enough for children to roam from dawn until dusk. But behind closed doors, behind polite smiles and Sunday church hats, the town carried unspoken rules and even deeper divides. At the center of this story are two siblings, Scout Finch, a curious, outspoken little girl, and her older brother, Jem. They live with their widowed father, Atticus Finch, a calm, wise lawyer who believes that a person's character is defined not by what they say, but by what they do. Scott and Jim spend their summer with their friend Dill, a lively boy with a wild imagination. Their days are filled with play until one mystery begins to consume them. That is the story of Bull Radley, the reclusive neighbor who never leaves his house. To the children, Boo becomes a legend, a ghostly figure of fascination and fear. They dare each other to touch his gates, to run past his porch, to imagine what horrors must lie behind those shattered windows. But they are children, and children often fear what they do not understand. Life changes the summer. Life changes the summer Atticus takes on a case that places him at the heart of a storm. A black man named Tom Robinson has been accused of attacking a white woman, Mayela Ewell. In Macomb, such an accusation is enough to destroy a man. Unfortunately, here, truth becomes secondary to race. But Atticus Finch agrees to defend Tom, fully aware that in the eyes of the town, he has already lost. He has already betrayed them. As the trial approaches, Scott and Jim begin to see uglier side of the town. Former friends turn cold. Neighbors whisper. Children mock them at school. Yet Atticus remains unshaken. He's still going to defend Tom. He teaches his children a lesson that will follow them forever. That is, the one thing that does not abide by majority rule is a person's conscience. On the day of the trial, the courthouse overflows. The white townspeople sit below and the black community, forced by custom, watches from the balcony above. Tom Robinson is gentle, soft-spoken and honest. Mayela's story, on the other hand, is full of holes. Atticus proves that Tom could not have committed the crime, but in Macomb, the truth is powerless against prejudice. Despite evidence, despite reason, despite innocence, the jury finds Tom Robinson guilty. Scott and Jim's worlds shift. Jim cries in quiet disbelief. Scott struggles to understand how grown-ups can be so unjust. And though Atticus fought with dignity, the battle was lost before it began. Not long after, hope is shattered a second time. Tom Robinson, desperate for freedom, is shot while trying to escape prison. The injustice becomes complete, and the town moves on, as though nothing happened. But evil does not fade so quickly. Bob Ewell, Mayela's vengeful father, attacks Scott and Jem in the dark one night, seeking revenge against Atticus. In the chaos, the children are saved by the last person they ever expected, Bradley, the silent neighbor. The feared recluse, risks everything to protect them, and in doing so, becomes real at last. Scott finally sees Boo, not as a ghost or a monster, but as a gentle, lonely soul, a mockingbird, armed by a world that never bothered to understand him. In the end, Scott stands on Boo Radley's porch and looks out at the world from his eyes, and she realizes how wrong stories can be. She realizes how people judge what they fear and fear what they refuse to know. Atticus once told his children that, I quote, it's a sin to kill a mockingbird because mockingbirds do not harm, they only sing. Yet people like Tom Robinson and even Boo Radley are armed simply for being different. Through loss, through violence, through heartbreak and awakening, Scott learns the hardest lesson of growing up that goodness must be chosen, defended, and lived, especially when the world does not reward it. And that is the enduring power of To Kill a Mockingbird. A story that reminds us that empathy is courage, that justice requires voice, and the most heroic battles are often fought in silence. Thank you for listening to this dramatic retelling of HarperLee's timeless classic, To Kill a Mockingbird. If this journey through Maycomb dusty streets, courtroom battles, and lessons of justice, innocence, and empathy moved you, I invite you to stay with me for more. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more immersive literary adventures where we bring great stories to life. One chapter at a time, one story at a time, and the beauty of knowing many stories. Bye for now.